Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to Controverous Comments, the show that pulls no punches and tries to tell it like it is. This is a show that's being brought to you compliments of Karen the K and many of the people that are behind the camera scenes. What we're going to be dealing with tonight is peace. And we want to apologize for the delay. We've had some technical difficulties, but I think peace is worth it, no matter how long we have to wait. 15 minutes, what is that in the whole span of humanity? In any case, what we'd like to deal with is what is peace, and maybe focus on some definitions and what people have said about peace, and then get into something called inner peace, which is dealing primarily with the individual, the personal peace that many of us hear about, and finally world peace. First of all, what I'd like to do is share with you what some famous people throughout history have said about peace, and these are some of their quotes. There is no way to peace, peace is the way, and this was by A.J. Must. When you find peace within yourself, you become the kind of person who can live at peace with yourself or with others. Peace is not merely a distant goal that we seek, but a means by which we arrive at that goal. That was Martin Luther King, Jr. Peace is not the absence of conflict, but the ability to cope with it. And here's one of my favorites. When the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace. That was from the 1960s, and a musician by the name of Jimi Hendrix.
Speaking of 1960s, isn't this topic of peace something that is kind of passé? Like, what are you, a hippie or something?
Well, I think the hippies had been in the forefront of the movement, what we call the New Age movement, if you will, the Americans turning to answers that were not being provided by some of their own spiritual basic thoughts and teachings. A lot of people who have found some things wanting in their religious background start looking elsewhere. And I think it started in the 60s. I'm proud to be a child of the 60s. Turn on, tune in, drop out.
One of our viewers, Vasir Mutar, says, "I want world peace" is also a famous statement of Miss America.
How do we get world peace? How do we get peace? The studies I've been involved with start off with...
Maybe you should start out with what is peace.
What is peace? Well, let me give you the Wikipedia definition, folks. Here we go. Peace, definition, Wikipedia. Peace describes a society or a relationship that is operating harmoniously and without conflict. Peace is commonly understood as the absence of hostility or the essence, or strike that, the existence of healthy or newly healed interpersonal or international relationships. Peace is a state of balance and understanding in yourself and between others. Peace, to me, is more of an inner quality than an outer quality. We all have our own definition of peace. I mean, I like to think when I was growing up, all the hymns, all the songs that I heard during the holidays, that peace on earth, goodwill to men. I want peace of mind. I want world peace. I remember being in Vietnam and coming across a 25-meter diameter crater, a hole in the ground, and feeling so peaceful. In the middle of war, after firefight after firefight, I felt peace. It was a calming sensation, and it's difficult to describe. It's almost euphoric. I set up my members of the platoon, the squad I was leading, and we all felt in tune with something that was above ourselves. I had not felt that until that moment, and I have rarely felt that ever since. But again, it was an internal feeling. I felt in tune with the surroundings in tune with a goodness, a calming, right in the throes of a hectic situation. 21, 22-year-old leading young men, 18, 19 years old, to fight, shoot, kill. But that was peace.
One of our viewers asked, what is this peace of mind you are referring to? What is it?
Peace of mind is when you are at a calm state, where you are in touch with a absence of negative thoughts, an absence of negative desires, an absence of any desires. I describe it as akin to being in love, but without the longing, the yearning to be someplace or with someone except for that very moment of your existence, that brief moment when you have the calm, the serenity, the feeling of being together with everything around you and within you. We can't find peace outside. And what I've discovered is, the studies I've been doing, is that they're so-called reformers, and we all are reformers to a certain extent. We like to be peacemakers. We think by making changes, instituting regime change in some governments, introducing a new social program, or we can bring peace to the world. And we have done this over and over and over again, only to find out that it won't work. You can't create peace out there. Peace has to come from within. And one of the only way for peace to come about is through the individual. And there has to be an ability by the individual to not seek gratification for the ego alone.
But doesn't peace have to do mainly with relationships? As you were drawing on the definition from Wikipedia earlier, you were saying that it's about interpersonal and international relationships.
I'll stay with the word inter, but I don't want to totally agree with international. I would like to stay with interpersonal. And interpersonal would be between and among and in connection with not only other human beings, but our nature, the environment, the world around us, the physical world. But we can't have that interpersonal relationship until we have the peace within us. We have to be able to look inside and say, wait a minute, how the hell am I going to find peace out there if I don't have it in here,
so
if I can't find it inside?
So you're saying peace within, or peace of mind, is the ideal state?
Yes. Peace of mind is, well, I believe that the only way that you can find peace of mind is to start from within. And the moment that you start to seek peace for yourself alone, you're in trouble. You have to start to seek peace for everyone, starting with yourself. That might sound difficult. It might sound almost impossible to do. How the heck are you going to get peace for everyone when you can't even get it for yourself? Well, you have to start thinking of everyone first,
Michael,
not yourself.
We have some activity on the internet here, and
sure.
What someone says, Blank Rue says, if we could, a quote, if we could just get everyone to close their eyes and visualize world peace for an hour, imagine how serene and quiet. It goes on, quiet it would be until the looting started. Now, that opinion is interesting, or that kind of look at it, but it seems to me like serene and quiet, this idea of peace, it's like, why not, you're saying tune out, I hear you saying tune in, tune out, it's like, is peace just like
turn
being
on,
asleep?
Turn on, tune in, and drop out.
I mean,
the bad thing was the drugs.
Do we just reach this sense of inner peace or calm where it's almost as if we were just, why not just be asleep? That's my question.
Why not just be dead? Why not just drop out completely? I mean, listen, we're talking about a peace, but before you get to that peace, you have to overcome hostility. You have to overcome some bad things. To really appreciate peace, I think you have to know war. And let me tell you something. There's a saying that a veteran is the tip of the candle for the light that we all need. Someone who has been at war is possibly the only type of person that can truly appreciate peace. I know veterans. I know people who have experienced war. I have my own personal experience in Vietnam. And the veterans that I've come in contact with, the people who want peace more than anything, are not the ones drinking in some bar hall. They're not the ones talking about their glorious fights that they had with the enemy. They're the ones that are saying we should not have war. We should not have to lift a gun and shoot someone. Sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes it has to be done. And I look at some of the most peaceful people in the world, someone who has written some of the most beautiful poetry in the world. David, that David from the Bible. I mean, he was in continuous battles for 40 years, fighting and fighting and fighting. War is not a pretty thing. It's damn ugly. It's shooting someone and having dreams about shooting that person the rest of your life. And you hope that you're going to be forgiven and that you are in the right. That is what war is, and you can't appreciate peace sometimes unless you've been exposed to it. Remember what David did. David wrote the poetry, the Psalms, while he was at war. He was seeking peace. Did he find it? Yes, he found it within.
Michael,
yes, go ahead.
Can this be like a symbolic or metaphorical war, or do you have to actually be a veteran in the Army or Navy to...
You don't have to be in the Army, the Navy, or the Marines, but I think a person who has gone through struggles in her life, any woman that has been exposed to assaults, any woman that has given birth and knows the pain and had to overcome the suffering, any person that has had to deal with that type of stress, be it from a car accident or a really nasty divorce, anyone exposed to that type of war, that type of battle, can understand the opposite of that stress, the opposite of that battle, and that is the lack of being in a confrontation.
Stress is a must. We have to experience this kind of stress.
I think in order to appreciate peace, we have to know the opposite of peace. We have to know that there is a time to battle and a time to rest.
So peace is the ultimate goal.
It should always be the ultimate goal. I think peace should be the goal for everyone. Now, it doesn't mean that we're going to find peace every day or every year or every generation, but it should be the ultimate goal of humanity. Peace.
Even over love, as you were saying earlier?
You can have love in peace and in war. I've had it, but I'd rather have it in peace. I'd rather have everything in peace rather than in war. It has to come from within now, and I think we're going to take a short break now. Stay with us, and we'll be right back.